So I've had a surgery on my ankle after I finished rowing. It had nothing to do with rowing, just some basketball injuries. And so the dorsiflexion in my right ankle, actually the left one too, is not super. So however close to vertical you can get your shins is fine. So, yeah. All right, so when you put your, we'll start out basic here, is when you put your feet in the foot stretchers, you want the strap to go over the lace that's closest to your toes. I said when I was teaching the kids at North Christian, I said the top lace, and so one of them like pulled the foot stretcher all the way up here, and I was like, yeah. So yeah, it's the one closest to your toe. That's about where you want the strap. That should be the close to the widest part of your foot. And you want to take those straps and grab them. You want to pull them like you're crossing them. You want your foot flat against the foot stretcher. You don't want to be able to, you don't want any of it to come up. You just want to be in contact with it the whole time. Okay? All right? When you set up, or when you're going to do this, unless you're doing something where, let's say that you were going to work on your initiating drive when you're at the catch, when your legs are compressed, you might, sometimes I'll have people do drills on that at 10, but I won't have them do like maybe 20 strokes, 10 or 20 strokes. You want to have this on between a 4 and a 5 on here. That is going to be a resistance level that would mimic you being in a single. If you had it on a 10 and you were trying to row like that, it's going to probably feel like you're in an 8-man boat rowing it by yourself. It's gonna, because what happens is when you open that up, the fan slows down more in between strokes.
I've never heard that before, Clint.
Yeah.
We play with that, and we've asked, why would you go higher, lower?
Yeah. Now every time I'm at Crunch Fitness, every single person gets on there, they sit down, boom, up to 10. I'm like, what are you doing? That's not good. But I don't say anything. I'm surprised my tongue's still intact. I just bite my tongue. I was like, don't say anything. I just close my eyes and put my AirPods in and start rolling. Can't do that. But yeah, that's what you want to have it on. And as long as it's in between there, you're good. Let's see, what else? Y'all know how to set up the displays?
I don't know if they're on calories or meters right now.
Oh yeah.
We'll check.
So if we can, I know that y'all do workouts on calories. If you can, let's put them on. Oh yeah, sorry. Here, let's put this. No, we're going to do them on meters. So you should be able to press the button in the lower right-hand corner. The ones where you got a bunch of, this one right here is good. So you want to have, at the top you have a lapse time. The big numbers in the middle, they'll have slash 500 meters, that's your 500 meter split time. You have strokes per minute on there, and then the number of meters that you rode. That's about when there's other ones you can do where it have like your average 500 meter split time and your projected finish time, and where I usually leave it on this. I most of the time, I'd say 99% of the time I row, I just keep it on this one right here. Partly because my undergrad's in engineering, I'm a big math nerd, so I'd rather try to do the calculations, keep my mind occupied while I'm trying to do this. Figure out what I'm going to do. So you'll want to have it set up like that, and then go ahead and if you have on a t-shirt, if you have on a shirt, tuck your shirt in the back. The reason for that is if you have a long t-shirt, if it gets caught in the tracks, it will jerk you off the seat and you'll sit on the seat. You'll sit on the rail. And I will leave the rest of that to your imagination. It's not very clever. It's better with these than it was
Start your watches too. Start your watches.
Yeah, these rails are a little better. The ones for the model before this, the rail was about that wide right there. You would only do it once. So. All right, so everybody go ahead, whenever y'all get your watches fixed, go ahead and grab your handle and then straighten your legs out. Okay? All right, and then your target area is just going to be, if you have on well, if you have it on a sports bar or something, so there's a band runner, that's your target area where you want to pull in. So I used to tell people like right under your pecs, but that's where you want to pull in. So not up here. I've seen people, I get to see a lot of stuff at crunch. I've seen some people pulling up here. I saw somebody pulling in down here. I'm like, I didn't know if it feels good. I don't. So anyway, so this, when you're sitting like that, and then I want you to sit up as tall as you can from your hips to the top of your head. Okay. We're gonna, as you're doing this, just keep in mind you want to be like almost like a stick figure with this, okay? And then I want you to lean back about 15 degrees from vertical. When you're sitting like this right now, you should feel your abs engage some, and your hip flexors. You're going to feel those, and maybe the top of your quads. You're going to feel those, okay? This is called the finish. This is what you want to look like when you finish. One other thing too, I want you to hold, as you're holding the handle, I want your wrist should be flat, okay? And your arms are out like this. So we don't want this right here. If you do this, if you do a 2K, you're going to take roughly 200, maybe 220 strokes, something like that. If you sit and do this 200 sometimes, your wrist's going to be killing you. So just, and this is a much stronger position. You don't get anything out of the last little bit of this. It doesn't accelerate them. So that's what you want. So this is the finish, okay? Now, the stroke, the basic part of the stroke is I'm just gonna tell you, when I say arms, you're still gonna be 15 degrees vertical, and then all you're gonna do is you're gonna let your arms straight out. Okay? Now I want you to look and see, actually everybody go back to the finish right now. So your legs should be all the way down, straight. I want you to look right here where the chain is in relation to this rectangle, okay? When you're doing the rowing machine, if you're on the water, it would be slightly different because you gotta raise and lower your hands to get your oar out of the water. For this, you don't, and so it's wasted effort because you're not doing anything. But you want to pick, and I've even had, when I'm teaching folks, I've even had like get pieces like little athletic tape or something put right here. You want that chain, that level of that chain to not ever change for your stroke. If I looked at you from the side, this chain would look like a solid rod. It just in and out at the same level, whatever level that is for you, okay? So, so everybody sit at the finish, okay? Now, arms. So we're still leaning back, arms, okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to keep your arms out. Again, looking where that chain is, that vertical level of the chain, I want you to pivot from your hips forward, keeping your arms out, keep your head up, and I want you to lean forward as far as you can. Okay, right there, all right? Now, and then the next thing I want you to do is keep that forward body angle, and I want you to slide up to your shins are almost vertical. So this is the legs part. So keep your arms out straight, but lean forward. Okay, this right here is called the catch. If you were in a boat right now, the reason it's called the catch is as I'm going up there, if I was in a single, I would start raising my hands and my oars would catch the water. So and drop in. So this is what you're, okay? And now and then next thing I'm gonna have you do is I want you to keep that forward body angle. I want you to push with your legs. Go ahead and push with your legs. Swing through with your back and pull in with your arm. Boom. So all three, once you get this down, they almost finish at the same time. So your legs will go straight, your back will hit 15 degrees, and you'll come in and it'll be like boom, boom, boom at the same time. Okay? So let's try that again. So everybody, when you're sitting at finish, remember, wrists are flat, sitting up tall, okay? And let me just take a quick peek at way back here. Okay? Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah, and extra layback doesn't help you either. So you want to just stop it off about 15 degrees. And actually what it does is it gives you a little bit of, because you can't stop it vertical, you're just going to swing through a little bit to come back. Because if you go back too far, then you've really got to engage your abs to get you back up, and then you got enough going on with this. So, all right, so let's take a few strokes together. And we're going to do like, put your thumbs, make sure your thumbs are underneath there. Drop that down, and then sit like that. That's good. All right, so now we're going to, I'm sorry, yeah.
So I usually have row with my thumbs out and loose. So if I put them under, do I need to be holding, gripping?
You do,
or do I need
it's a
to
very good question. So when you're doing this right here, you want to do like this. You should be hanging. So see how my thumbs are moving? But you want to keep them underneath because it'll put your wrists and everything in a better position. If I move them up like that right there, it tends to make me bend my wrist some, but you want to hang on the oar handle. I don't want to squeeze the oar handle. I'm not trying to get, lime juice out. I'm not trying to get anything out. Don't want to squeeze it. But yeah, you want to make sure that your wrists, just make sure your wrists are flat. Okay. All right, here we go. We'll do this. So just in unison here. So we go arms. Up. Don't worry. When I do this with my kids in school, it's like, wait a minute. You ever played Simon Says or whatever? Like, just do exactly. All right, so we lean back. So here, I'll do it over here. So here we go. Let's finish. Arms, back. Okay, legs. So now we're compressing the leg. So when you move, okay, there you go. Everybody good? All right, now we're going to do legs, back, arms. One part of this that I want to show you. So everybody come back up to the catch. When you're up here at the catch, when your seat moves, your handle should move. Okay? So what I mean by that is, so keep your hands right here and just move your seat back. So see what happened there? Nothing. If this handle's not moving, there's no work being done. And once you do this, once you start do that with your legs, you've lost all this potential that you have here with your legs compressed to be able to start moving that wheel. And then what you do is you'll catch the load. You'll try to get everything started with your back. You don't want to do that. That is probably the one thing where you can have an injury, other than doing this right here a bunch of times with this. So you want to make sure legs, back, arms, back, legs. Okay. Everybody go to the finish. Oh, yep.
I have another question. So
Sure.
you said that your feet flat on this?
Oh, not your heels,
Okay.
but you want your forefoot to be in contact with this at all times. Your heel, yeah, that's why they make them like that. Why the foot stretchers are made like that. So yeah, when you come up, you can bend up your heels and yeah, whatever you need to. That'll help you get closer to vertical with your shins. Okay. You don't want to. I mean, there's some people that are. I am not one of them, but there's some people that are very flexible that can get past that. You're not really doing anything. So you just want to get. If your shins are straight up and down, that's good enough. Okay. All right, everybody. Let's see. Everybody to finish. Okay. Here we go. Arms, back, legs, back, arms. So this is going to sound like you're in kindergarten, and I promise, but this is the best way to learn how to do this, is just get this drilled in your head. All right, here we go. Arms, back, legs, back, arms. Arms, back, legs, back, arms. All right, I want y'all to take 10 strokes together. Whenever everybody sit and finish, ready, row. Just nice and smooth. We're not racing. We're just trying to get this down. Okay. Up. Yeah. Everybody, stop. Sorry, I said. Yeah, and rowing, like you're in a boat, you're coxswain, when you're getting close to stopping, they'll tell you to stop. They'll say, "Way enough." You could just say, "Stop." I don't know. They got all these fancy terms for the boats and all. We want to make sure at the finish, when you come in, when you're rowing, pretend that you have a spring mounted to your chest right here. Okay. So when you come in with your hands, all your hands are going to do, you're going to go boom. They're just going to bounce out. You don't want them to sit here. You just want to bounce out and then float. So if you were watching someone row, watch them go. You want to go back fast and you want to float up. If you're in a boat and you like slammed this way right here, your boat would, you can see it probably more pronounced with a single, but you'll see your boat would just stop. It would just boom, like that right there. So you want to keep tapping it. You want to be light and keep that moving, okay? So you want to float up, even when you're doing a 2K test, you still want to keep that ratio. Now your strokes per minute are going to start going up. If you're probably somewhere around 36, 40 strokes a minute, whatever it is for you personally for 2K, but you're still want to keep that same ratio. You still want to boom and then float up. And the floating up is going to be a little bit shorter, but in relation to that drive when you're pushing with your legs, it should be a difference in your head. Okay. All right.
Good question.
Yes.
Do you want him to hit your chest or not hit your chest? Does it matter?
You can. I would say you don't want to like do CPR on yourself. I mean, or whatever, like chest compressions. But you can. It probably would just slightly touch on here. Would it? I think I might be able to. My left hip has been bothering me a bit. Would it help if I got on here and rode?
Yes.
Whose machine can I
You
get
can
on?
use mine.
Okay. All right. And then maybe just make just next time you get on, maybe you make a mental note of what hole your foot stretches in or something that help you get set up a bit.
Trip is with me. Trip is with me.
We're gonna find out. All right, here we go. So arms, back, legs, back. Just nice,
Smooth.
flow. You want to reach out as far as you can, but still keep a good posture and body in. But that's what we're going for. Just even as I speed up. So still float up and then explode back.
So is the power, is the catch that you're getting as you're getting the rhythm going on the pull?
Yeah, with the legs.
In the heel?
That's good. That's a very good question. So when you get up,
Your back.
you're up here, and then you boom. It's like you're jumping.
Yeah, okay.
Another thing. Sorry. When. Yeah, that'd be awesome. My throat is
Having a
dry.
frankie moment, I gotta catch my breath.
I always pause for breaths.
So, what was I going to say?
Oh.
Yeah, you want to get up here and explode off of it. And then when the hands were coming in, I don't think I touched this. If I am, it's just. Yeah, it's just that explosion. And what I was talking about with your handle moving with your seat up here, that's the drill I was telling you. I might have somebody doing on 10, just so you can feel like they're hanging. So it'll be very heavy. And if you do with your back, you would, it'll feel way too heavy. But if you use your legs, you get that hanging feeling and be able to move it. Let's see. Does anybody have any other questions?
Clint, would you row like this for a 500 and a 2,000 meter? Same kind of technique?
Exactly the same. Yeah. So the test that I would do, or as part of training, we would do a 6K in the fall, usually, and then in the wintertime, leading up to the spring, you do 2K, because the length of races for the Olympics is 2,000 meters. That's how long the sprint course is. In the fall, you do races, they're called head races. They're on rivers usually, and those are around 5,000 meters or so. They picked, I don't know why they picked 6K for the national team testing and things, but it's a while. But you want to pick a 500 meter split time that if you were plotting it out for 2K, that it would look almost like in a straight line. You might get a little bit at the end, but if you've been pushing it hard enough, when you get to the end, you might drop it 2 or 3 seconds for the last 200 meters. You're not going to drop it like 10 or 20. If you've done that, then we need to go back and figure out a different level to keep you at. Now 500, you're just going out as like, you know, like somebody's chasing you on the water, like, you just gotta go as fast as you can. So, let me think. There's something else I was going to tell you. Yeah, I think. Oh, I know what it is. So, one thing you'll see. So, Nick, you know, if y'all are ever out at a, you know, traveling at you're at another gym or something that, you know, you're out of town, you'll see people get on a rowing machine, and let me know if you've ever seen this before.
Yes.
Like, I saw these two ladies the other day, and they were sitting there like this. They were just talking, like, yeah, you know, I really like this rowing machine. I don't really know what the big deal is about it. So I was like, okay. So, and that's why even with the settings on here, you know, that's why because you know, you'll get some guys, they'll get on there and like, oh, you know, I'm 250 pounds, whatever, so I'm gonna put it on him. It's like, no, don't do that. I can get you. I'll tell you a quick story. The best man at my wedding was my best friend at Georgia Tech. He played football there, and he was a linebacker. I think we're probably about the same height. When he was playing football, I was about 218, 220, and he was like 250 or something like that. I mean, it was noticeably different. He ended up playing, he was with the 49ers a couple years, under practice squad with the Giants, played NFL, Europe. But his eligibility was up, and he was training for a pro day coming up at Georgia Tech. You know, they had scouts and things. And so he was just training by himself, and I was like, well, I don't want you to do that. I'll work out with you. So I was doing like all my rowing stuff. We're on the water in the mornings. We're running stadiums, whatever. And so in the meantime, like I'm meeting you at the football field. We're doing all this sprinting and these box jumps and stuff. And anyway, I said, I get through, and he used to get on me. He's like, man, football, that's tough. He said, rowing, that's nothing. And I'm like, that's fine. Okay. I said, I get it. You know, I said, I don't know how you ever get used to like running into other people your size. It's like having a car wreck every day. But so I said, tell you what, I've done all this training for. I just want you to do one thing for me. I said, coming up middle of February, we're having the Atlanta Erg Sprints at Georgia Tech. It's 2,000 meters, 1.25 miles. I want you to come out and just do that with me. Okay? And I said, in fact, I won't even just throw you out there without. I said, I'll teach you how to row, and I'll even give you kind of a game plan, but I want you to do it. Oh, okay, yeah, that'd be easy. All right. So I taught him. We sat down. We did the exact same thing I'm doing with y'all. I mean, everything. I even had him a game plan set up, and I told him. I said, when you start, you're going to be like jacked up. There's like 20 or 30 rowing machines, and they're all hooked up to this monitor. You can see your little boats, like they're playing the water game at Six Flags. However hard you pull. And I said, you're gonna want to go out like crazy. I said, don't. I said, this is the split time. Take about 5 strokes or so to drop that down, and then hold it. Just hold it there. He didn't listen. So I told my coach, I said, because they had the ergs assigned, and I told my coach, hey, you got to switch this so I'm right beside me. Okay. So he did. In about a minute, a little over a minute, maybe a minute and a half into it, all I heard was, oh God, oh God. Like he was, and I was like, so then I'm really beside him, and I look out the corner of my eye, and he'd forgot everything. So he's like, and y'all were doing a great job. I do want to tell you, when we were doing that arms, back, legs thing, you're getting your hands out past your knees. So that's what you want to do every time, is get your hands, arms back, and then move your legs. Because if you don't, you've got to raise your hands up, and this does, I mean, maybe it's like a deltoid workout or something, I don't know, but anyway, so he's doing this, and his chain's like flopping, and I start laughing, and I was just like, and my time was horrible. My coach got this like, what in the world is wrong with me? I said, did you not see this? It's like, I don't know, he was doing it. So, you know, it's rowing is, I am biased, but I'm also not alone with this. If you watch the Olympics, next time they have the Olympics, the announcers at some point during the rowing competition, every one that I've watched in my life, they would say, you are watching the best conditioned athletes at these Olympic Games. The first time I heard that, is actually before I started rowing in the summer of '92, I was like, wow, that is a bold statement. I mean, you got decathletes, you got all these other track guys, you got, I mean, all this other stuff. You got swimmers, and then after I've done that, I don't think it's questioned. Not to say those other people aren't in like best shape of their lives, but you can get an awesome workout with this, no impact on your joints, and you can work as hard or not as hard as you want to, and it can be just a giant pool of sweat under your machine if you've been cranking at it. So I want to see, so everybody hop back on your ergs. I want to see y'all, let's do, y'all want to do 500 meters?
Yeah.
That'd be two, okay. So let's set these up 500. Everybody know how to do that? Okay.
Frankie.
Yeah.
We tried, Clint.
Now, you use the one at the bottom. Just use the one at the bottom where it says 500 meters /1. You don't even have to set it like that. So you can go back here. Okay, so we go select workout, standard list, and then you can use this one. It's 500 meters /1 minute. Sorry, that 1 minute rest.
Is that one? Yeah. Oh. Thank you.
Yeah. So you go. Sorry. Select workout, standard list. That one at the bottom. If you're just doing one now, I'm gonna change it this way so it looks like that right there. Good. Good. Oh no. Here, I'll show you. Quick way. Let me type all that in. Okay, so we're gonna go select workout, standard list. You can just do that if you want to do a 500 meter. Okay, that's a quick way to get it set up. You know, the other ones that have them there are 2K, 10K. What's the longest one y'all have done so far? 2K?
5K.
Oh, you did a 5K, okay.
Frankie's standing next to Sue.
Okay.
You made us do it.
That's really good. Actually, the summers when I was after I started rowing, I had the rowing machine in my house. Every day I would do a 5K every day.
Wow.
Just as soon as I would get out of the car from work, from where I get off work about 4, I'd drive to my mom's house, and then when I got out of the car seat, I didn't sit down again until I sat down on the rowing machine, and then I would do 5,000 meters every day. That's good. Some of the crazier, I usually get this question. The crazier distances for this is on the water. We would row for like a kind of a standard workout is we would push off from the dock. We'd row for an hour, and then stop, and then spin, get some water, stretch, and then we'd row back. On the rowing machine, probably 10K was about. Maybe 10K or an hour piece would be the longest that we would do. But these distances, 5K is awesome if y'all were able to do that. Normal people usually will quit. I mean, most people would just quit doing that. So, all right. So everybody, grab if your displays are still on. Sorry, I've been talking so much. So when you do this, if you're going to do a piece, all you want to do is you want to lift your handle straight up. You want to sit at the catch. You want to make sure again your feet are the balls of your feet are flat against that. Okay. And the way you'd start if we're in a race is you'd have the referee here and it'd say, attention, row, and you would start rowing, okay? So we'll do that. And I want you to do this 500-meter piece. I want you to go as fast as you can because I want to see if there's any weaknesses with your form. They'll show up quickly like that, okay? All right, everybody sit ready? Attention, row. Fast as you can. Bounce your hands out. Get your hands out from your body quickly. Straighten your arms out quickly before you move your legs. Your hands have got to be past your knees before you move your legs. Don't stop rolling. Get your hands out before you move your legs. Hold your legs down. There you go. Bounce your hands out. Very good. Hold it lower. Hold it at the bottom of your sports ball. There you go. Pull down, bolt it until you're fast.
Great.
There you go. Should be about halfway through. Down here. Hold it lower. Really low.
Lower?
Like right here. There you go.
That's different.
Yes. You want your wrist flat, your arms out. Get your hands out past your knees before you move your legs. So hands out, body angle forward, then move your knees up. Sit up tall. Sit up tall. Let's finish. All right. And then hold straight. There you go. When you finish, keep moving. Just keep moving on the seat. You don't have to hold on the handle, but just keep moving back and forth on your seat.
There.
All right.
I've been rowing wrong.
No, that's good. After you just take a rest for a second. I'll show you something. So for the most part, everybody look good. Really, the key is, this happens most of the time, is as you start speeding up, you want to get your hands out. You've got to get them out and get them past your knees, because otherwise you'll start doing this. And if you're focusing on where your chain is in this rectangle, it'll help you, because then if you raise your knees up too soon, you'll see that chain start running a little bit. What's going on here? Okay. All right. Let me show you real quick.
Wait, are we doing this again?
No. Hey, that's it. We're gonna get it.
Somebody else's turn. Just
You want to do it again?
No.
So who had the 52? That's pretty good.
She's our residential best rower.
No, I'm not. She's good.
All right.
There was 2 seconds, not even 2
Yeah.
seconds.
Okay. So go ahead and straighten your legs out. Sit and finish.
Good job.
So, right. Oh no, you're good. Right there.
I'm like pacing.
Not here. Yeah, you are right there every time.
It feels really different.
It does. Here is not. You're about here. This is not strong. Here is much stronger position. Sure.
So I've been watching videos. So
Yep.
like the ultimate. Problem is if I go here,
Yeah.
and you back far enough to
Yep.
feel like I can. But if I go here, it's really low.
Okay.
If I try to hit the bottom,
So then.
I'm not in my belly button.
Yeah. So good question. So then, in that case,
When I
you know, because if you saw when I was running, I actually never even touched my
Right.
shirt. Like I
Yeah, you were
would
like-
stop it off. Yeah. So if you're in a boat, and part of this comes from if you've only ever done it on the rowing machine, or if you've learned to row in a boat. If you're in a boat, you would never want your oar handle to touch your shirt, because what will happen sometimes you'll get caught. Get caught in there. And it's like, it won't turn, and then you'll catch the oar handle in the back. So, but yeah, just what I would say is pull in such that here. Go ahead and grab this. Look, I'll show you. Go ahead and put your feet in the foot stretchers. Okay. Now sit and finish. Just sit right there. Okay.
So I went down to start.
Yeah. So go up. Just a little bit. So I would that right there would be fine. That'll be fine. Yeah.
It feels like I can't get a full.
So if it feels like that, I would then drop down just a little bit so that you're just at the bottom band of your sport.
So I'm gonna hit my.
That's the
hands
big-
and then my chest, I think.
Slide your hand. Oh, sorry. Slide your hands up to the end. Now do it. Let's see how that'll probably give you a little more clearance there. But at the end of the day, you want to look like this when you're pulling. You want your wrists flat and your elbows out. You don't want your elbows pointing at the ground. This is definitely not. You want to be almost like you're doing lat pulls or doing pull-ups or something like that. All right.
Awesome. I have a question. When
Yes.
it's getting really tough, where do you feel it aching the most? Like skirts, like I feel it in my legs. Is that
Lungs.
normal? No.
Oh, for me.
Yes, lungs.
Legs.
Okay.
You should feel probably
Okay.
your quads will start
Okay.
hurting.
Okay. Me too. I was sure that was right.
But you just figure out how to. I know we did 500 meters, but I have had things like this where I've taught people to row before, and they got about halfway through the 500 meter pace, and like, I'm out. Like, I can't do this. But y'all kind of push through that. So whenever it starts hurting, you just got to figure out something. What I usually do is I start focusing on my breathing more, so that I'll blow out, and then I'll try to figure out some rhythm with that, and if I do that, it'll take my mind off.
Yeah. And one more question.
Yes.
So your strokes per minute,
Yeah.
what is that like? So I got 152 with the split at 36. Is there like an ultimate like where you try to?
So
talk
this.
a little about this.
Yeah, so the split time, the physically big numbers on your display, that is ultimately, that's the ultimate of how hard you're working. Okay, so if I can pull, I don't know what I got mine down to, let's say 130 or 120 something. If that's the case, I can get it down to, I can get it down to 150 by pulling hard, like really accelerating on the drive. Or if I'm trying to do a 2,000 meter piece, what I want to do is, remember that I told you that if you want to keep like tapping it along. So that's why you're taking more strokes per minute, because you're trying not to let the fan decelerate too much, and you're trying to keep going. So that's why the stroke rates will rise when you're doing a faster piece. If you're doing a long piece, like if you're doing a 10K or something, you're not going to do 10,000 meters at a 36 on there. Now for a 2K, I will tell you that in a boat, we've gotten up to around probably 44, 42, something like that. But that's everybody in the boat knowing how to row, knowing how to do kind of use it. But I would say 36 for 2K is pretty good. But don't worry so much about that. As long as you're doing the other stuff. So hands coming in, they're bouncing out, getting your body on set, then move your legs, and then when you get up here, push with your legs and swing through your back. That's more important to focus on than the stroke. If you're worrying about if you're having discussions about what your stroke rating would be, you got all this other stuff nailed down, and then you're doing a lot more technical things, with a coach or something like that. Anybody got any other questions?
Private lessons.
I won't teach anybody. I'll come back here as many times as Jimmy will have me back. So. All right. Next. Got it warmed up for you.
For real.
You should be.
I think we both want to do one guys. Oh, sorry, just you. 152.
Did you take yours to cross?
Yeah, so you want to do like that. So if you pull them straight up, it will tighten some, but it doesn't. If you cross your hands like that, yeah.
like I can't get.
Yeah, and sometimes you get people that will do about this. I'm like, that definitely is not tight. I mean, but you want to cinch. Yeah, you really want to cinch them down. Okay.
And I watched him.
One other thing I didn't mention. So when you're setting up the display, you want to set it up so that it is up at eye level. Don't have it down low, because as you're rolling, you want to sit up. You want to keep your body up like this. You don't want to collapse it down, because whatever you can do to make it easier to breathe, get the breath in and out. Is what you want to do. Okay, so everybody, Stretchers look good. Again, make sure they're across the top strap, or top lace of your shoe, or the one closest to your toes. All right, so everybody grab your handle, and we'll sit at the finish. So legs straight. Once you get there, if you have, especially if you haven't done so already, go ahead and tuck your shirt in the back. Sorry about that. I just don't want anybody. I don't want you to pull out because it will hurt. Well, not as quite as much as it'll hurt you, but it will pain me to see that. All right, so everybody sit up there. So now sit up as tall as you can from your hips to the top of your head, and then lean back 15 degrees from vertical. Okay. All right, so that looks good. Everybody got your head up. So, all right, now first thing we're gonna do is arms. So still keep the body angle back. There you go. Now find your spot. Find your spot on here where your chain's going in and keep it there the whole time. So don't let it go up and down like this, okay? All right, now pivot from your hips, reach out, okay? Head up, okay? You want to pivot forward, up there, okay? Now, just keeping that forward body angle. So if I look from the side, let me get over here to see. If I look from the side, everybody should be, all right, that looks good. Now I want you to go up to, now compress your legs, but still keep that forward body in. All right, so now we're at the catch. All right, next, we're gonna push with the legs, keeping the forward body angle. Now swing through with the back, pull in with the arms. Okay, we're at the finish. So again, target area is just under your pecs, okay? You wanna, so everybody looks good there. Don't squeeze the handle, so thumbs kind of nice and loose. A lot of times when I'm doing pieces, like I'll even like as I'm going up, I'm just kind of make sure I got a light grip the whole time because I don't want to squeeze in that grip. That does not make the wheel go faster. All right. So again, flat wrist, elbows out. Okay. Everybody, this looks awesome. So now we're going to do arms, back. When you pivot forward, you want to make sure you're getting some forward body angle. The reason for that, here, let me sit down real quick, I'll show you. The reason for that is you want to have something, if I'm sitting straight up, if I end up sitting straight up, I don't have anything to help me move help me to continue to accelerate the wheel through the stroke. So when I go from here, 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 so now I've got forward body angle. I'm as tall as I can be from my hips to the top of my head. Then I'll float up, and then I push. As the handle moves, my seat's moving. It's moving right along with the handle. So as my legs come down, then I can swing through my back, and I still get so right. If I sit straight up, I don't get that extra use of my back muscles. And you'll notice all of it's finishing at the same time. Okay?
Does it matter if our knees are out or in?
So mine's going out right now because I don't know what's going on with my hip. Normally I try to keep, for guys, I would say when you get up there, your knees probably are under your, like in your armpits. Pretty close to it. If you're up here at the catch, so lean forward some. There you go. So they're probably that right there. This is exactly how I would say they would look. That is dead on. So they're kind of, or maybe like under your biceps or something when you're compressed, and then you're just swing through there. But if your legs go out some or whatever, it's okay. If you're doing sweep rowing, actually one of your legs will go out some because you're sitting there with the oar. As you go up, your oar swings around this way. So as you go up, like I rode starboard side, so my left leg would go out some because it's going in an arc, and I had to do something to do a little bit to get out. Now it's not like touching the tunnel or anything, but it'll be noticeable out. But that form when you're at the catch right here is perfect. It's perfect. Did anybody have any other questions? Okay, let's go ahead and set the finish. right. That looks good. All right, here we go. I'm going to hold this here. No, flatten your wrist. No, not like that. Like that right there. Okay? And then sit up just a bit. There you go. Okay, that is a very good position. It's a very strong position. Okay, here we go. Arms, back, legs. Make sure you're there. You go. Make sure you're leaning forward. Legs, back, arms, arms, back, legs, legs, back, arms. Make sure when you get up to the catch that your hands don't dive down. You'll see folks that'll have a tendency to do that. They'll get up and they'll drop down like that. No, just reach out. Just imagine you're reaching out straight ahead as far as you can, not reaching down or up, just reaching out. And you're probably, most of you, with your flexibility, you probably are getting, I would say, either close to touching this or maybe within a couple of inches of it. You should really be reaching out there. All right, here we go. Arms, back, legs, legs, back, arms, arms, back, legs, legs, back, arms, arms, back, legs, legs, back, arms. Again, we're doing this exaggerating, very slow right now, but you want to make sure, again, we're going to go back fast and then float up. So you don't want any part of your recovery, the recovery phase when you're coming forward, you don't want any part of that to be, other than getting your hands out quickly, you don't want to, when your seat starts moving, you don't want that part to ever go boom like that. You just want to just be nice and smooth. Even when you're doing a faster stroke rate, the time it takes from you to get here to here is obviously going to go down, taking more strokes, but it's still going to be in a ratio slower than the drive phase. Okay. All right. Now, once I take 10 strokes together, who's going to follow? All right. Everybody sit ready to finish. We're going to take 10 strokes, nice and smooth. Try to take them together. Ready, row. Make sure you get that forward body angle at the catch. Push your legs. There we go. There you go. Then you have a spring on your chest. You're going to bounce your hands out just before it gets there. Boom, boom. Just float up. There you go. Boom, float up. Good job. Okay. There you go. Don't worry. We'll take 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. There you go. Okay. You go ahead and put your handles in the handle holder. Just kind of stretch out a little bit. We'll do a 500 meter piece in a minute. Did anybody have any questions for me? We're looking really good. Definitely had a benefit of watching other folks go first. But you want to make sure that when you get that forward body, when you come up to the catch, don't let your seat slide up under you, so that you go like this. You go like that. And so your legs are compressed, but you lost that body. You want to keep that forward body and then push with your legs and then swing through. Don't swing.
Shoulders in front of your hips.
Yes, your shoulders should be in front of your hips.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want. I hadn't thought about that. So yeah, you don't want your shoulders to be in line with your hips. They should be, looking like a stick figure. They're going to be like this. Like this, my shoulders, my hips right here. They're going to be like that right there. But yeah, everything. Probably the 2 things, actually 3 things I saw. So, getting the hands out. Don't let them try to snap off the stroke before it gets to your shirt, and then the forward body angle, and then at the catch, make sure we're not doing this. Make sure you're not diving down, because if you do that, then you got to lift up to get you back in good position, and then and again you wasted some energy here with this arm motion. Okay. All right.
So I'm gonna ask you a question so we can stall a little bit longer.
Yeah, no. We're good. say it. I'm gonna tell you the coolest place I ever got to row. We had a head race when I was living in Oregon. We went to Victoria, BC, and we started the race off near the apartment building in this harbor. And so there's like these seaplanes landing and all this kind of stuff. But you're sitting there, and it's just, yeah, the scenery out there is gorgeous. And you go through a part of it that it narrows down, and it has like this crazy current as people were coming into it, they would, you know, be prepared for. We watched a bunch of races come through. So you get in this current that's going on this bridge, and it just like shoots you out the other side. You're rowing, you're like, boom, boom, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm on a conveyor belt, and it shoots you out.
If you're on the water, Clint, do you know your pace? Like, does the coxswain know, or do you?
So the coxswain so there's a thing it's called a cox box, and so it's usually like I don't know. They're probably the same. So the coxswain seat where they're sitting, there's a cylindrical tube, and you just put it in there, and it will tell you a lot of this stuff. If your boat has an impeller on it, it can give you the 500-meter split time. But at least they can know strokes per minute, and they'll know lapse time. Because on the bottom of the stroke seat, so if you're in an 8-man boat, it'll be in seat 8. So the bow, so everybody, you're looking at the back of the boat, but the bow seat's number 1, so 1 through 8. Number 8 seat, there's a magnet there, and so it'll count the strokes for you. They can tell that. They also have, in an 8-man boat, there'll be maybe 2 or 3 speakers in the bottom, and the coxswain will have a microphone, so that everybody in the boat can hear them. Forward, you might have one. Most of the coxswains I've been around, they like to yell a lot, so their voice projects pretty well. The boat that I rode in, the single that I rode in, I had what's called a speed coach, and the speed coach looks just like this. It gives you all the same information, average 500-meter split time, whatever. And on the bottom of the boat, it has a little impeller, and that's where it's getting that pace rating from. And it's good to have, really when you're in a race, if you have the 500-meter split time, it's good, but as long as you know you can see your stroke rate and lapse time, because if you're doing a sprint race like that, you're usually on a buoy course, and so you'll know every 500 meters is a sign, 500, 1,000, 15, and then as you come into the last 500, the buoys change colors. So you'll know, you can see them tracking out from you. And so when you pass that 500, you know, okay, I got about 50 strokes left, or I got about this many strokes left. And you'll have done it so many times that we used to do this, just in the wintertime. We would do this right here, and we would take and flip it up like that so we couldn't see the display. And we'd have our coach walk out through there, and it's like, all right, what's your split time? What's your 500-meter pace?
Based on feel.
And tell him, and pretty much I'd be within like a second or two of whatever it was. So you'll just know how the wheel feels, how your body feels, kind of doing this. But if y'all have any, if you have any questions, any other questions, let me know.
So your coxswains control the pace time? Like you might start out like at a 1:35 and 35 stroke per minute or something like that.
So on a race, a 2,000 meter race, and this is probably one of the biggest things I miss about being over water, is at the race start, so you got 6 lanes, you got 8-man boats, you got 48 oars, so everybody's sitting, their oars are back, and they're at the catch, so their oars are in the water. And so your first few strokes, when they say start, it is like chaos. It's like you got 48 oars like going all over the place. But when you start out, it's almost analogy I give people is if I had you out on the track, let's say I just had you doing a 40 NFL combine or something like that. Your first 2 or 3 steps, they're not going to be the longest strides that you can take, right? You're going to be like short, choppy steps. It's the same thing with this, even when you're doing a 2K, but even when you're on water, your first few strokes, you'll sit at like half. Your legs won't be fully compressed, but half. So they'll go half, 3/4, lengthen, full, and then you'll do like maybe 10 or 20 strokes. Like you're trying to get the boat moving. If you take a full stroke and your boat sitting still, it will actually go backwards. but you'll go back and then you'll start moving. So all you want to do is ease into it and kind of tap it along to get moving, and then start going. So next time you do a 2K or 500 meter piece, the first if I did one, they would be probably like a really short and choppy. And in my head, I would do that. I would go half, 3/4 length and full in my head. And then once I hit that full, I should be getting close to whatever rate I'm going to hold for the whole time. So that's a very good question. You'll have a race plan before you get out on the water. Usually I've talked about it, so before you go out, you just kind of circle up as a crew. You'll talk through what your plan is, and a lot of times you may have to adjust it depending on you got some boat that's out in front of you. You're not going to stick to your race plan if this other boat's beating you. You got to figure out something so you might have to take up the strokes per minute. You might not take up the strokes per minute. You might take it down a little bit, but make sure everybody's lengthening out and really pulling through.
So you guys stay at the same pace as the other guys? Or, I mean,
In your boat?
yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
for sure. Yes, and that's why.
crazy.
And that's why if you see any of the national team boats, men, women, heavyweight, lightweight, whatever it is, so they do all these erg tests, to get folks in the boat. Or if they've got an 8-man boat, you want to make sure the sides are balanced out. But you'll see the guys, and most of your guys are going to be. So I'm average height. Like they're going to be, they're going to be taller, or they're going to, just to try to match everything with people's stroke. Yeah. So who's got the fastest 500 time here? What's the fastest one you had?
I don't think we've got 500 times.
So I did 136. You did like 134 last weekend. Victor was at that day.
29.
Today's the day, Victor.
All
We
right.
want 114.
What's your fastest 500 time?
Probably about 115.
115.
Okay. Victor 114. We're all about beating.
But that was.
I said 130.
I was gonna say that was. I guess it was not in this. It was in the century, barely.
One of you did 136, I feel.
So you want to just get out and hit. So as we do this, just like with other group, when we start speeding up things, if your technique is off, it's going to show up. It's going to get magnified. That's what I actually am looking for when you're doing this. I do want you to go all out, see what you can get for 500. But your first few strokes. So let's say your first 3 or 4 strokes, you're going to go half, 3/4 length, full, kind of thing. And then when you get that first full stroke, you should probably be pretty close to getting, close to whatever pace you're going to hold for that.
When you say half, do you mean the front half, or are we doing the back half to get it going?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
So, okay. Yeah, I was starting for just at the front of the yeah, and just up here, boom, all you're doing is getting the wheel moving. You don't want to, yeah, if I'm sitting dead still, I don't want to take a full stroke, just because it's going to be, I'm going to be able to get that wheel moving like that. All right. So the way we're going to set this up, I don't know if y'all saw the last group. So what you'll do, the easy way to do it, press menu, select workout, standard list, and then at the very bottom it says 500 meters / 1 minute rest. That's the fastest way just to get a 500. And that's just if you're doing 500 on, a minute off. All right, everybody ready? And you want to make sure your display, yeah, so it's going to be meters, 500 meter, elapsed time, strokes per minute. That's about all you need. Okay. And then take a second, let's see. All right, so everybody, when you're doing this, you got it set. Just go up, grab your handle, and then lift your hands straight up, but don't pull back or anything. Just lift them straight up, okay? All right, and you should have forward body angle. So when we do this, we're going to go half, 3/4, full, and then we'll be into it, okay? All right, is it ready? Attention, row. Get it moving. Get it moving. Everyone. Forward body, lean forward. There you go. Try not to slam in here. Float up. Hands out and float up. There you go. Keep that forward body angle when you're up here. Don't let your seat slide under you. Lean forward. There you go. That forward body angle. Don't let your feet slide out. Lean forward, lean away. Lean forward, then push your legs. Don't stop rolling. Just a little bit quicker. Pull into your target area and pull right with that. There you go.
Come on, Rachel.
Wow.
Got it.
Right
Well,
there.
that's 200, that's what down.
And
Wow.
be more full.
Good job. Good job.
There you go. 32? 130.9?
30?
There you go.
31.3.
Man, awesome job.
One, break one.
Awesome.
Wow. I said 130.
133.6.
Wow. Look at that.
Just take a rest.
Good job.
You put it in, come out like this, don't let your hands drop
Wow.
enough. Just try to keep them out like this from here. Because it'll make you focus. It'll make you focus on reaching out instead of just.
That's great.
Yeah. Good job.
I'm sorry.
Try to, whether you can or not, reach out and try to touch that. Whatever.
You normally do that half.
That's great.
You do it this time, I did it.
I went faster.
That'll let you go your life.
Wow. That just made me wonder. Like,
Man, that's awesome. Good job.
115. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I've been doing it a few times.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great.
I couldn't imagine. 15 seconds missed.
Wow.
What could you do today?
They're not. If your hip wasn't hurting.
I probably 130, low 130s. I just, I hate this. I cannot get compression right now.
Oh, man.
So you can breathe like me.
So this is why. So what y'all did? Y'all did an awesome job, Dave. But this is why it makes me laugh so hard when I'm at a gym and I'll tell you those two ladies were sitting and thought, oh gosh, I really can't get it. I don't really sweat when I'm out here. Like, look, I can see why you're not doing anything. And I've tried to teach. I was at a gym. I was trying to teach a guy. You know, he's like, come up there, and then I was like, hey, come up, I show you. Okay. And so he's trying to do it. He goes, yeah, I just can't ever get a workout. So he's doing it, and his split times are like, I don't know, they're like 2:50 or 3 minutes. And I'm like, is that as hard as you? I'm working hard. I'm like, no. But yeah, it's so you can work as hard as you want to push yourself in this.
Yeah, I agree.
But really, I would say the key for you, or just some key things to key on next time you're doing this, is the hands, getting the hands out, finding that target area, but get your hands out. So you're not, stopping and then we're starting the next stroke. It's just nice and smooth, and then don't drop your hand. Let me see.
I'll show you the feet are on fire now. It's like Shayna.
I lost feeling
So definitely, Jimmy, that's why I tightened your feet down, because you were probably getting about that. If you had done your whole piece of that, you probably would have broken
Tired?
the But just this right here, it has to keep your feet back down.
Okay,
Did you do better than your last 5 minutes?
Because they weren't tight enough?
Did you do the half
They
and
weren't
half?
tight enough?
Yeah, they
Oh,
were
did it make a
just
difference for you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that first stroke, because I was like, oh, it's getting worse.
Right.
That's a great tip. It's like a Kickstarter. It makes sense.
Just use a little bit of arm.
Yeah, just to get that wheel.
How do you learn to pace? Because I don't think I know how to do it.
It'll just take doing a few pieces, but I would say, maybe start out with something that's where you're just going. Maybe start out with doing something where you can, talk to somebody while you're doing it and not sing. So, if you don't have that's like a tip somebody tells you to stay in aerobic zone if you don't have a heart rate monitor or something. But start off with that, like figure out where your anaerobic threshold is, where your foot start feeling, and then maybe go push it down, the split time down a little bit. But you want to just, as you do more of these, you'll figure out, okay, that last time I did a 2K, as I got my time started doing this, I was just dying at the end. You may want to just raise it up a bit so that you can get a little bit flat. But you want to. So just stopping, I'll probably stop about here. But I give you the target area just so you know where to pull in. So you're not pulling in, because you don't want to do here, and also don't want to do here. If you do this, and a lot of it just comes from being in the boat, but if you do this right here in the boat, your boat will drop down to your side, like your teammates will not be happy with you, because it'll just keep on flopping around. So that's why you want everybody to kind of finish in the same area. And then when you